Hello, welcome to the end of the first bookworm. My name is Lauren, and today I wanted to do the six tropes that I love in romance. If I see any of these tropes, I will definitely pick up a book or at least consider it if there's other things about it I like. So, the first one I have is a prickly heroine or hero. So, either way, like, even if they're both a little prickly, like, I enjoy that. I like that. I like to see somebody who on the outside, people would just write off as one way, but with this particular person, it brings out the softer side of them, and that payoff can really be nice, whether it's in a romance or not in a romance. I just enjoy that trope a lot. Oh, probably too much. The second one I have is being forced together because of the weather or other extenuating circumstances. As long as you give me a reason, like I'll go with it. Like I think that's why I like a lot of the weather themes, like when there's a bad snowstorm, and this can go for mysteries. It also works well for romances, and it's just a nice way to push two people together for an intense period of time that they wouldn't normally be together. And if that's your story, then, whatever excuse you want to give me for why they're together, I like it because it gives me a realistic reason why this story can progress and why the romance itself can progress quicker than if you're just living your life and going to work and coming home. So I I like that trope. I enjoy it. And I tend to like stories that have that trope in it. I think is more the thing. My third one I have is fake relationships. So this could be people who are pretending to be married, who are, being paid to pretend to be somebody's significant other. In a lot of historicals, it's like a marriage of convenience where they're like are already married, but they don't love each other, and then that can develop over time. So, like, maybe legally it's a real relationship, but they're pretending to be in love and they're really not. Any of those sort of fake relationship tropes, I love it. I think it's just so much fun. I don't care if people feel it's been overdone. I just really like it. I think it always ends up being kind of, or if it's like a fake relationship, and maybe they don't fall in love with the person they're in the fake relationship with, but that fake relationship leads them to maybe, somebody connected to that person or somebody around that person. I like that. I just like that whole subterfuge, kind of like that we are in on it and the couple is in on it, but like all the rest of the characters or the majority of the characters are not in on it. And I like that. It's fun. Um, the next one I have, the fourth one, I think this can be done well and cannot be done well. When it's done well, I really, really like it. When it's not done well, it just will ruin the book for me. And that is the destined to be together. I think this works the best in like fantasy or even sci-fi books. The ones I'm thinking about are the Ruby Dixon, like Ice Planet Barbarians. uh, I think she does a really great job of like why these two people are getting together. They have like this little parasite that's injected into them. And when they're close to the person that they are a good match with, their thing like vibrates. They call it their cooey, and it vibrates, and then the other person's vibrates, and then they are like a match. And I love it. I think it's very clear. We see it. Sometimes you also see it with like families where sometimes the characters don't know that they're destined to be together, but you know as the reader, or you find out at the end, like, oh, this all works just like, this prophecy stated, or whatever the case may be, however they work it together. It's not super common, which is fine with me because, like I said, I think it can be difficult to pull off, especially in contemporary. I cannot think of a contemporary romance that had this trope that worked, or even has had it recently. Nope, can't think of it. But I think in fantasy romance, it works really well. The next one I have is enemies to lovers or friends to lovers. I don't care. I think with enemies to lovers, it can be tricky because you don't want them to be like, you don't want them to actually hate each other, because you would also have to either a give them a reason to really hate each other, which would make you dislike either the hero or the heroine, or the depending, I guess if it's LGBTQ, then it could be hero, heroine, non-binary, whatever. Um, or there's just some kind of miscommunication, so the person isn't really bad, but they are miscommunicating, or there's some reason why they think that they're bad, and that can also be frustrating. So that one can be a little bit harder to pull off. I think enemies to lovers works really well when it's a second chance romance, and maybe in the past they were a jerk or they weren't a nice person, and now they have grown and developed, and now they are a nice person. And so I like that. Like when you can see this person recognize and say, "Yeah, I was a jerk. I cheated on you or whatever, but I am not that person anymore," and they can prove it. Then I think the enemies to lovers works best. If sometimes it can work with the miscommunication trope as long as it's very quickly revealed and reconciled, or something happens that makes it make sense. But I like that. I like the friends to lovers, especially if they've been friends for a long time and then maybe not seen each other and they're come back into each other's lives. I think that that works really well because you don't have this insta love happening for no reason. So it's much more believable that they could fall in love quickly because they already have this previous history. So I like both of those. Um, And the last one I've already talked about is the second chance love with a changed protagonist. I really, really like that trope. I like when we show that people can change, and, who we are at 19, 20 is not indicative of, who you're going to be at 25 or 30 or 35 or whatever. You can, like, change. People can. I have to hope that, right? They can, right? Anyway, with a romance book, anything can happen. So I really like that, where you see somebody, and it also, because nobody wants a perfect hero or a perfect heroine, and I think that also just makes them more gray, makes them more interesting, makes them more, but at the same time doesn't take away from their likability factor, which is important in romance, at least as far as you want to like them in that relationship. You don't have to like them, like, if you met them in real life, you might not like them, or you might not want to be friends with them, but you want to think that they're a good match with this person. You generally in romance, well, can't say that because, well, the romances I like, I know a lot of people, maybe that's why I don't like those genres. I know a lot of people like, the mafia types or the gangster types, and, these guys doing horrible things, but then they like this person. I think that can work for me, um, but it's generally not gonna be my favorite thing overall. Like, I, I, I guess I'm too much of a softie. I'm not into the hardcore stuff. So, because whenever I will think like, oh yeah, I'll take anything in romance, and then I'll see some of the some videos by people, they talk about romance, like, oh wow, I don't think I could do that. So like, maybe I'm more like tame than I realize. But it's helpful to know what you like and what you don't like. Again, these are not universal truths. Every people could have the same list of as tropes that they don't enjoy, but these are just tropes that I like, and I think the more that we can think about and understand the things that we do like, it's more helpful in finding books that I enjoy, and it's helpful for me because I don't want to find a bunch of books and read a bunch of books that I don't enjoy. Even if other people enjoy them, like, that's great, but if I know it has a lot of tropes in them that I personally wouldn't enjoy, then probably be more cautious about reading it. And if it has a lot of tropes that I do enjoy, then I'll be more eager to read it. I said cautious like it's something dangerous. It's not dangerous. Anyway, so these are my 6 tropes that I usually love in romance. Obviously, a book is not one trope, so there's other factors that will contribute to whether I like or dislike a book, but those tropes are generally things that I will gravitate towards. So thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye bye.